everyone, and welcome to the Contingency Plan Podcast. My name is Jedi Master David, and with me, as always, is Darth Austin.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, 2 weeks in a row.
I know.
We did it.
It's a new record.
It's a new record.
Although, we barely made it.
Yeah. Very, very true. Very, very true about that. We're back again. We've got some comics we're going to talk about some Star Wars news, talk about how football's stupid and I hate it.
Yeah. No defense. No defense.
Yeah, we're both Cleveland Browns fans, so we wrapped up watching the game here on Sunday and then recording. Just couldn't quite get over the hump.
Yeah. So if we both sound like we're really pissy, at least you guys know why.
Yeah. Good stuff, man. But yeah, so how's it been going?
Exhausted. I am just completely dead right now. It's been a pretty busy week. We've been picking up a little bit of work. I put in like 50 hours this week, and then we've just been doing some personal stuff, trying to clean out Dad's house and everything a little bit for him, and it's been a slog.
Yeah.
Doesn't really feel like we had much of a week, honestly. I didn't even get to read the comics till about 2 hours ago.
Well, yeah, same here. Yeah, it certainly has been a bit more on the go for the past couple of weeks, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I was interviewing this past week for a new job, and first interview really good. Second interview, I'd had so much to deal with throughout the week, just work-wise, that I was a little frazzled going into it, and it was like these idiots put an interview, a second interview. Well, technically it might be smart. I don't really know. Anyway, second interview towards the end of the day on a Friday. So I was
trying
pretty.
To see
my
what
brain
you act like by the end of the week.
Yeah, I guess. Now my brain was pretty fried. I mean, I answered their questions, and I don't have any real reservation about that. But it was just not the best. That much is for sure.
Yeah. When do you think you'll know something?
Oh, it'll probably be this coming week, one way or the other.
Yeah.
And, it's one of those things that just needs to be filled now. So, yeah, so we'll see.
Good luck with that, obviously. How'd the wedding go?
Yeah. Wedding was good.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah, nice hillbilly wedding. We sat on hay bales.
Really?
There were eight large John Deere tractors, but I mean they're like the bigger farm equipment tractors, and which is hilarious because like my sister is not like really a country person. While they were in the little tent reception thing, they're playing all the latest country hits.
Pop country.
103 FM, playing all the current country hits. Anyway, so they were doing that, and I made a joke. I was like, well, so where's the thrash metal? I mean, when are they going to start playing like, some Metallica or some Slayer or something? Because that's what she used to listen to when she was a kid.
Right.
But yeah, but yeah, they're happy, so that's all that really matters.
Good.
But I just thought it was kind of funny. So yeah, not too bad. But yeah, that was the week. It was something. And this week is set to be just as busy.
Mm-hmm. Same here.
I've got some other reporting that needs to be done, and everybody and their brother is just having a hard time right now. So just seems like everybody's on it.
Right.
But yeah, we've got some Star Wars related stuff. Oh, I did forget to tell you about this yesterday. I went and saw the new Bond film.
I didn't realize that was out already.
Yeah, it came out this week. No Time to Die, I think.
Mm-hmm. How was it? No Time to Die.
So, I I don't really care about spoilers. No, I won't spoil it for you. Are you going to go see it?
Well, yeah.
Did you see Shang-Chi yet?
No, but this is Bond. That's a little different.
No, I won't spoil it. So I'll say this. It is an incredibly long movie. I did not think about that, and basically all Bond movies are long. Mm-hmm. So I went to a 7:45 showing at the theater that I like to go to. And, it was like, I don't know, 11.
Oh, jeez.
I don't know. It's something like it was a very, very long, almost 3-hour movie.
Jeez.
And there were parts of it that just felt like it was like rushed at high speed too, kind of like Rise of Skywalker. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Just fast. Did I like it? Yeah, for the most part. I felt a little just like non-connecting to the rest of the series because, like, I've watched Daniel Craig's Bond films, but I just didn't remember some of these characters. Really? I didn't rewatch any. It's been so long. Of course, my favorite Daniel Craig was Casino Royale. Mm-hmm. That was my favorite of his series of movies. But yeah, there were a couple of things in there that I didn't really enjoy. There were a couple of things that if this movie were made in the 1970s would have been completely different. But yeah, it was a send-off for Daniel Craig. I mean, I don't think that's a spoiler. Daniel Craig was done with Bond.
Right,
right. This is his last Bond.
Yeah.
And it is his last Bond. So anyway, the ending justifies that.
Yeah.
Remy Malek was the bad guy. I don't know if I don't think he did a bad job. I'm just not quite sure I like him as an actor all that much. He's a good actor. I just don't really know that I don't know if it fit for me. Some of the other characters were pretty good. This was definitely a much more fallible government as well. Like, they were making light of a lot of shortcomings and stuff like that, which I thought was interesting. The only thing that I thought was a little strange, they really let Daniel Craig talk a lot more in this movie.
Really? Because he's probably one of the most quiet Bonds, actually.
Yeah, there were just parts where it's like, I don't think he needed dialogue here. That's really my only real critique. It's like, maybe if you didn't try and give Daniel Craig all of this dialogue, like, you would have cut maybe 30 minutes off of this movie.
Jeez.
So,
how gory was it compared to his others? I know he's usually one of the more violent Bonds.
Yeah, there was definitely some violence in the movie for sure. There was maybe one that I didn't really care for. I thought it was a little gratuitous. But yeah, I don't know. It was a lot more of just kind of like execution style stuff,
Yeah.
And like I said, I didn't really think I liked that as much. I won't say what it was, but yeah, acting wise, I think everybody did a pretty good job. I know that this movie got a lot of crap because, crap in the beginning, because at this point, Daniel Craig, James Bond, is retired. Mm-hmm. And...
Oh, so you jump forward a few years.
Kind of, yeah. And I don't know if this is spoiling it, so I'm just going to say spoilers. I'm going to do one thing. Mm-hmm. So 007 has been reassigned. The number has been reassigned.
So
because he's retired. Okay. So he's James Bond, but he's not 007.
Right.
There's a new 007 who happens to be a woman.
Oh, do they introduce her? You actually get to see her?
Well, here's the thing, though. And here's the one thing that I wish more people thought about when they get all riled up about this kind of stuff. Will they make a 007 movie with this actress, which I could probably pay her the courtesy of getting her name, Lashana Lynch? Is that who it was? I'm pretty sure that's who it was.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, that's who it was. She looked. I actually needed to look her up because she looked really, really familiar to me, and I couldn't think of why. She's in Captain Marvel. I actually didn't watch that one. I had to have seen her in something. Maybe it's TV. It doesn't really matter. But anyway, so she is 007.
Okay.
But what is the name of this movie? What is the focus? It's not on 007. It's on James Bond.
Just be
James Bond
Jamie
is
Bond
James
now.
Bond.
Just be Jamie Bond.
No, but see, that's the thing. They didn't do Jane Bond. She's not Bond. He is James Bond. Her name is what was it? Naomi or something like that. Naomi. She's not Bond. It's not a Rey Skywalker scenario. She's just someone who is a 00 who happened to fill in the 007. I would highly doubt that they ever make a movie centered around her.
Yeah.
What will eventually happen, and this is just what I feel like, what will eventually happen is you will just get a new James Bond timeline, like we always get.
Right.
Now, who is James Bond, we'll see.
Yeah,
We'll
I mean,
see
there's
about
been
that.
a lot of talk. I know everyone and their mother wants Idris Elba to be
Idris Elba, yeah.
James Bond, which I could see.
Yeah, I wouldn't have a problem with it.
But I don't know. I guess you could do a spin-off movie line that doesn't focus around James Bond, but I don't know if there'd be anything in that universe worth, because there's really nothing special in the James Bond universe. It's just about him.
Well, and that was kind of one of my things. It's like, you could do a movie or you could do a television set. You could do something with her, but and again, this isn't like meant to sound as like I'm tearing down the actress or her portrayal. Her portrayal was fine. I actually thought she was really great. But the reason why people watch this is for James Bond,
right,
and the secret agent stuff. I think just following her, I don't necessarily know if that would be all that popular, and it might.
Yeah.
I think, I definitely think it. I think it would be interesting to have, another higher profile, like female secret agent thing. Because I mean, like, my God, what was the last one? I guess Black Widow's technically a secret agent something, but that's Marvel. Mm-hmm. I mean, what honestly was the last like female secret agent lead movie that you remember? I'm drawing a blank on it. I'm not sure.
Serious
I mean,
movies?
like high profile.
No. I mean, it seems like that's kind of more pushed into the realm of children and young teen. There's usually not many adult films with female spies.
That's Hollywood.
Yeah.
That's Hollywood. I'm going to leave it at that. That's Hollywood for you.
Yep.
I will say Ana de Armas. I'm sure. Anyway, she played a smaller part in here, but she was really cool. I thought she did a really good job. Naomi Harris, who plays Moneypenny, like her. The new Q, nerdy skinny guy. Mm-hmm. he was fun. Ben Whishaw. So anyway, I mean, the cast was pretty solid. There were some good nods to different things in here. And aside from the overabundance of Daniel Craig dialogue, the only other thing that I feel like I didn't really get as good an explanation, maybe I just wasn't paying attention, was how Rami Malek's character was Rami Malek's character.
Right.
Just didn't get it.
Right.
It didn't. Maybe on a second viewing, but anyway. So
yeah, I'll definitely
you should go
take
watch
the
it.
time to rewatch. I probably haven't watched any of the Bond films for well over a year now. So,
well, this is the first one that I've watched in theaters. I think I might have caught Casino Royale in theaters, but that
really?
It's been a while.
Yeah,
and apparently it did. Money-wise, $56 million domestically and went over $300 million globally.
Oh, cool.
So
yeah, for less than a week out, that's not bad.
And those are usually very high budget films.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see what if they have anything else for Bond. rated PG-13, and they did get in their one F word.
Did they?
Yeah.
Nice.
You get one. You get one in a
you get one
PG-13.
very violent death and one cuss word or two cuss words,
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. So anyway, we'll see what the future is for good old James Bond. But yeah, it was an interesting movie.
Mm-hmm.
Dealt with some very real world stuff, I think, as far as governments and their government plans. But yeah, decent characters, decent story, great settings as always. I did think there was and maybe it was just the theater, but there were one or two times where I was like, I know we still shoot in 24 frames a second, but some of these panning shots just got really blurry. It's like you maybe bump that up a few more FPS. Let's get this up a little bit in the pan shots. Let's make it look a little bit crispier or something.
Well, you kind of mentioned it earlier, the Rise of Skywalker, the rainy ocean world. I kind of felt like it was like that when you were panning to part of the Death Star. It was pretty rough.
Well, which is interesting because I'm pretty sure all that was CGI. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it
so
still
could have been the theater.
Still
kind of bad.
Yeah, maybe.
No, I get it. There was, however, one scene that was, it had a really nice pan, and it kind of did well. In Last Jedi, when they were doing the bombing runs in the very beginning of the movie, and they did those really whooshy downward shots.
Yeah,
they had something like this in this movie too that I thought was pretty
That's
neat,
cool.
pretty well done. So anyway, yeah, that was interesting. I just thought I'd share, rack up some minutes before we actually talk about what we intend to talk about.
Right. Oh, also, since we're talking about movies and TV and whatnot, have you heard of the Squid Games?
I've heard it talked about. What is the podcast called? I think it's called Brilliant Idiots. It's Charlemagne the God and Andrew Schultz. I think I remember listening to one of their podcasts this week, and they were talking about it. I haven't watched it. I didn't really know much about it.
One of my coworkers had talked about it several days in a row. I guess he's really into it, but I haven't watched it yet. But I've seen a lot of stuff referring to it online, TikTok and whatnot, people recreating scenes. So I look up this one scene I'd seen 20 videos on. And not to spoil anything for, people who haven't watched it, but it's probably already been spoiled for you. There's this game where it's basically red light, green light. And you have this weird, keep in mind this is all Japanese.
Oh, okay.
You have this, and it's subtitled, you have this weird doll that kind of looks like a Frisch's Big Boy, only female. And she'll spin around and say red light or green light. And if you don't stop, they shoot you.
Ah, interesting.
And everyone just panics after the first 2-3 people get shot, and 30 to 40% of the contestants just get mowed down right then and there.
So I don't expect you to know this right off the top of your head, but is this like a parody of some of the Asian game show things that seem really crazy, and this is just real world crazy stuff, or is it a morality thing or something? Well, there's a lot of memes surrounding some of the Asian game shows that are just million miles a minute.
Yeah.
Or is this just some sort of morality thing in a terrible future?
I don't think it's set in the future. I know the premise is basically they pick all these contestants who are in copious amounts of debt or in trouble with the law or whatever, and they're granted and can't think of the word. Their debts are paid. They're taken care of if they win.
Okay.
It doesn't really seem like Saw games where you have to work together or, sacrifice something that you're obsessed with that controls your life. It's just, I don't know. I wouldn't compare it to many game shows I've seen. But
like a Hunger Games thing?
No, they're not fighting each other from what I've seen. But
okay.
They're not necessarily working together either. They're just all dealing with it at the same time.
There was an episode of Doctor Who that did something like that. It was one of those Doctor Who's all over the place timeline-wise, but in a human future where you were just sort of like transported into these different, like, like Big Brother and all these games, but if you lost, you died.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is like people had zero control, and the whole thing was that the populace was basically just indoors and fat and watching television all the time, so they had to have entertainment.
Yeah.
So that was a premise in Doctor Who. I don't remember what that was, but that was that whole Bad Wolf thing. Anyway,
it doesn't seem like they're actually recording what's happening and like airing it on TV or anything like that. But I don't know. I only watched one of the games. I don't know how many there are.
Interesting.
Yeah, might be worth checking out.
Maybe in 10 years or so. I did watch the Dave Chappelle special, the closer that he just put out.
Oh, he put out another one. Cool.
Yep, it's by his admission, the last one for a while, and depending on society, might be the last one he does for Netflix.
I'm sure he offended a few people.
Oh, he always does that. He's always done that. But I mean, I always appreciated Dave Chappelle because he's a storytelling comic.
Yeah.
His punchlines are either twists and turns in a story or the end of the story. So you have to listen. Like, you have to be patient with that kind of comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not one-liners, it's not quick hit jokes he goes through. But the problem was with this is, there were some jokes about, the LGBTQ community and like the transgender community and stuff like that, which, some people are going to find insensitive, but,
He's kind of always been like that, though. But the last special he was really heavy in that, so.
Well, I mean, it's nothing new. He rags on everybody.
Yeah.
And while I'm sure it might be offensive to some of the people, like, and I know that people don't really want to give comedy much of a pass anymore. Mm-hmm. Well, depending. Some people they do, some people they don't. But because all canceling is all arbitrary.
Yeah.
All of it is literally arbitrary, and some is justified, some you can clearly tell is not. Mm-hmm. And it's just, kind of one of those hive mind groupthink things that just goes out of control at times.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dave Chappelle has always been a really unique comedian. I mean, you got to think about Chappelle's show. He really didn't get anything out of Chappelle's show. They owned him.
Yeah.
Which was a whole big thing when he went into Netflix, and then eventually he was able to secure the rights to all of his stuff when he was getting involved with Netflix. Netflix actually took down the Chappelle Show because they had paid money to Comedy Central to put it on Netflix, and because Dave had such a problem, Netflix actually took off. Wow. I don't know, it was like for a while or whatever until it was settled. So I mean, I give it. I don't really. I think Netflix has squandered a great thing in a lot of ways because I don't think their content is as good as they think it is. They're trying to be really heavy into creation.
Yeah.
When what do people really want to watch? They want to watch Friends for the 50th time on repeat. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's what a lot of people like. And I don't know if they make profit really anymore because that's always been a losing proposition. They've lost for years, but they have opened up a lot of pathways, and it seems like at times they have some conscious there, and then other times not so much. It's just weird. It's just like society. But no, Dave, I thought that this one was a overall. If you don't get offended by it, and if you think about it just as solely comedy, well, here's the thing: he could have just ran out and did Trump jokes.
Yeah,
and he did.
Or
he did make a Mike Pence
stuff, or anything.
Well, yeah, he did make a Mike Pence joke that was pretty funny. What was it? Something about the most closeted gay man, or something like that.
Yeah,
he I think it was something like he's the kind of gay man who prays to not be gay, and he's like, take away these feelings, it's just something like that. But I mean, it doesn't really matter which aisle you for some reason sit at. It's all funny.
Yeah. Oh, and honestly, I feel like anyone should, instead of taking offense, just be proud. It's almost like South Park. Everyone was offended by an episode of South Park. it's kind of like a rite of passage. But honestly, the way I look at it, if you want equality, that means you get made fun of just like the rest of us too. So
yeah, it's just difficult right now. I mean, there are a lot of people that are, that feel they need to really fight for something, and that's fine.
There's also a lot of people that are extremely bored.
Well, that's
true. I think a lot of it boils down to that.
Yeah, but I'm more than happy to listen.
Sure,
I really am, and help if it seems to be valid and all that stuff. But yeah, we're just in a weird time. But anyway, so there you go. Dave Chappelle, Squids, and 007 sounds great.
Broad spectrum, right there.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and talk about some of the, I guess, bigger book news that came out here. We've got, I think it was 5 new books that were announced here this past week. The first one we have Shadow of the Sith, which is set to release June 28th, 2022. Adam Christopher, which I didn't look him up. I don't recognize the name. Adam Christopher, who are you? He's from New Zealand. Doctor Who fan club. Has he done anything? Star Wars? End of Watch. Oh, a couple of certain point of view things. Okay, so not really. Doesn't really have it's not really big credit. That's interesting. I mean, he's wrote a few things, not like a ton though. Okay, so so he's got this story 2 decades after the Battle of Endor, and this is kind of filling in kind of some of the gaps from Rise, where we had like Lando and the whole Ochi thing, and Lando's daughter getting stolen. Who could that be? Who is it?
Which, by the way, two decades after Endor, Lando's kind of getting up there at that point.
Well, I mean, he would be old. He was in Rise of Skywalker. He was old then.
Right.
It is what it is, man.
But Rise was, 35 years after? And they introduce his daughter in that, and she's...
we don't know that.
Well,
I don't think that was ever confirmed.
Well, it's about as close to, not saying as you could get without saying it, but true.
I don't know. Let me actually look that up. Did they canonize that?
I can't think of her name.
Doesn't look like it. So they're saying there's no direct. Basically, they're kind of like, probably not.
Oh, okay.
So we'll see. But so anyway, Lando and Luke are on the search for Exegol. Luke's having haunting visions and.
Why does everyone have to go to Exegol?
Because they have to double down on it. And here's the thing, and this is what gets me kind of like irritated, that people continue to buy into some of these YouTube channels that push these stupid theories about, rewriting and, there's going to be a new trilogy that overwrites this and they're going to decanonize this and Kathleen Kennedy's out of here. You do realize that is so much bull, and just don't watch it. Don't give the satisfaction, because those folks don't know anything. They don't have inside sources. They don't have anything. There's nothing. It's dumb. And I'm going to say that again. It's dumb. It is what it is. It's just not. It's not good. Yeah. It's not good for the entire structure of the fandom anyway. But anyway, this is just more. It's more nails. This book is just another nail. It's like it's just confirming and adding on to stuff that we saw in the movies. It's like. I keep hitting this mic because I have to do emphatic gestures. I might try and edit that out, or I might not. Depends on how long we record and how late it gets. But yeah, I mean, they are beating Exegol to death. We're going back to Ochi. We're just kidnapping kids and blah, blah, blah. So there you go.
You think we'll see Exegol in the Obi-Wan series next? Maybe he'll go there for no reason.
I don't care about Exegol. I don't care about it at all. It was fine in the movie. I just don't care.
Yeah.
And this is something that we've talked about. I want to know more about what Luke did in between the two movies. Not necessarily this.
Yeah.
But it's something Luke related. It's just weird that they gave it to a guy who really hasn't done much in the way of writing Star Wars books.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Might be cool. Next book, Brotherhood, Mike Chen. And this is coming out May 10th of 2022. Let me see this guy. I don't recognize his name either. Mike Chen. Mike Chen does not even have a wiki page.
Jeez.
Ooh.
That's not good.
Does he have any? He has a website. Oh, nice. Okay. So what do you got? What have you written? 7 books, and he did, from a certain point of view, some additions to a certain point of view. Okay. So giving him this, and this is an Obi-Wan and Anakin adventure during the Clone Wars. Must stem the tide of the raging Clone Wars and forge new bonds as Jedi Knights. Sick.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely one of the best duos, and it's always fun. Don't really know if we need more Clone Wars content, but I won't complain. It'll probably be good.
Yeah. It actually looks like this might be like the official kind of, this is when he becomes a Jedi Knight.
Yeah, kind of mentions some things that lead to that.
Interesting. Well, we'll see. That one could be interesting.
Yeah. Almost like a Master and Apprentice type book.
Yeah, maybe. Next up, we have Stories of Jedi and Sith. Jennifer Heddle, I think. Oh, she has a Wikipedia page.
Oh, my.
I'll be darned. First one of the two. Oh, that had a... What do we got here? So what is this? This is short stories? Oh, these are... little kid stories. Like,
Really?
early kid. Yeah, Ezra and the Pilot.
Oh, my.
Sabine's Art Attack. Like little kids. Is this also a little kid book? The story of Jedi
it's
and
called
Sith?
a middle grade anthology. 10 acclaimed authors imagine all new tales for some of the saga's most popular characters.
I'm such an idiot. I didn't actually.
Yeah, that's actually the editor.
This is edited.
Or edited. I'm sorry, not edited. Yeah.
Edited.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I'm a dork. Yeah, Delilah Dawson's in here. That's a name I recognize.
So we'll be going through stories of Luke, Darth Vader, Obi-Wan, Asajj, and beyond. Yeah, our authors are.
Yeah, I'm not going.
These are not names.
You guys can look it
There's
up.
a couple I'm not going to try and do now.
That's probably going to be a pass for me, but we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see when that comes out June 7th, 2022. Last one we've got here, we've got Padawan, Kirsten White, July 26th, 2022. And this is Obi-Wan as a Padawan.
Yeah, I love the description. Obi-Wan Kenobi really wants to be a good Padawan. The best Padawan, even.
The best of Padawans.
This is actually in the timeline where he just gets assigned to Qui-Gon, though, which we had... I don't think we've ever done a review of, but there was a couple of books in Legends that went over this timeline. I forget what it was. It was a story about they were on some kind of freighter being taken over by raiders of some kind, and they aren't actually like master and apprentice at this point, but they just kind of run into each other. So hopefully this is a good one. I'm actually kind of interested in this.
Yeah, Kirsten White looks like she does a lot the young adult.
Mm-hmm.
She has a full series of books here, so that'll be interesting. We'll see. I don't know, that might be a passer as well, but again, you got to get the all ages in here.
Yeah.
So there we go. Good stuff. Ready to head into our comics for the day, or do we need to talk anything more about books?
Well, no, I think we're about ready.
All right. I want to run through Darth Vader here real quick.
Oh, my goodness. Hold on. Let me just pull that up.
And I want to run through Darth Vader real quick because all we're doing is we are fleecing people for telling the same story over and over again. And I am kind of tired of bounty hunters, the whole War of the Bounty Hunters. And I think we're going to have to make some decisions eventually on if we still want to continue to cover this. Yeah. Now, granted, it is content. It's fine. It's usually can be short conversations. It's not terrible, but
I just kind of wonder if this would be better if we went through, wait and do 25 comics at a time so we don't have to go through the repeats.
Yeah,
just rehashing everything so many times week after week. It gets annoying. It really does.
Yeah, it is kind of annoying to me. But I figure, again, this is something we can probably push through. And this is just leading up to the whole sale. Yeah. So the thing is like we got the sale and we got Darth Vader's entrance, but we have to have the backstory for some reason.
Yeah. And the backstory essentially is just explaining why one of Jabba's nephews or whatever was trying to outbid more. I mean, that and just her finding out about it. There's really not much else going on. There's like this little potential uprising that he squashes. It's just really focused around Moore, not Vader at all.
Yeah, so Administrator Moore, failed to kill Vader, and she kind of has some consequences from the Emperor, who basically demotes her to what she says is a sub-administrator. So still dealing with issues, but she is not on the level anymore, essentially. Mas Amedda's kind of, gives her some crap and so forth. And it kind of makes you think if this is like, or at least it made me think if this is like a test for her or if it's really meant out of really any real malignance or anything like that. But we see her throughout this book kind of, use mind tricks and so forth. She does this once with Ameda. She was, trying to figure out weaknesses in Vader's suit, which we had already seen exploited with IG-88, attempting to take him down, which of course didn't work because while, the suit might malfunction, he still has the Force. Like, do you not understand that?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, she has a little bit of influence here, kind of uses that to influence Ameda, and then has a little clandestine meeting to discuss, future plans and I don't know, let's kill Vader, let's target Vader, because that wasn't a series at one point.
A terrible series, by the way.
Yeah. And then Vader, of course, shows up and
chases people, much, essentially.
Chases them into a temple or whatever. What was Vader's little blind buddy's name? Do you remember his name?
The bounty hunter dude. No, I don't remember his name.
Yeah, well, I don't care. He basically takes out all of the conspirators, and Moore is able to keep herself alive.
Yeah,
let's put
somehow.
it that way.
I mean, there's no reason he shouldn't have killed her, honestly. The second she told him about Luke.
Yeah, they're trying to move the plot point forward as to why Vader wants Solo.
Yeah, but
because Moore is able to convince him that Luke will follow him anywhere. It's like, what do you think is going on? Yeah. Luke does his own thing all the time. Yeah. He doesn't follow Han. He'll try and save him, but
she even admits, I only want to get you guys around each other so he can kill you, because I know I can't kill you.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
and then it's just a throwaway.
And once again, true. And then once again, we're back at the auction.
And did I really have to read? Did I really have to read about the Hutts just inflating the auction 2 million credits again? Because we've done this 3 times already.
POVs, man. Then Vader comes in and kills some people, and that's it.
You kind of get the feeling it's almost like in Light of the Jedi, where they have to keep reminding you of things.
Yeah. Well, it's just not moving the story.
Yeah, it's kind of like anime.
It kind of feels like, but it kind of feels like I was fleeced out of $4.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I wasn't happy that I bought this. And actually, I don't have many of the Vader comics. I think I have 3. Most of them I just have the physical copy. But I bought this from Comixology, which is a little bit more usually, and I don't know, the panels in it were weird. Of course, with Comixology, you kind of go from one bit to another, not page by page, but it was just like way too many panels with nothing going on. There's like 30 panels of just more walking.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
this could have been like a 20 to 30 panel comic, just rehashing it and then nothing. I mean, it would have been done.
Yeah, and again, I was actually going to mention this earlier. I did see on on Twitter, somebody had reacted a bit to our vision, saying it was like, oh, it seemed like a rough go, and I was like, well, yeah, it was a rough go, because it wasn't all good, you know. I mean, in our opinions,
that's probably the most negative video we've had, honestly.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, it might be. We were definitely negative on the ones that we didn't like, but I mean, we actually did like some of Visions.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't necessarily, at least my cup of tea. But, I do really enjoy Star Wars. I mean, I do enjoy a lot of it, but I kind of do want to get a little bit of value for what I'm buying. Mm-hmm. It just seems like we've had 2 or 3 rehash comics.
Yeah.
I'm not really cool with that. I want to enjoy comics, but again, this is kind of one of the reasons why I don't really do comics, or I haven't historically done comics. Yeah. One, because I like long stories, and a comic series is technically one long story, but move the story.
Right.
Just move it along, man. Which is why I think it was a mistake that they did this cross-promotional thing amongst all the series. They should have just did one mainline Bounty Hunters and just got the story over with. You just borrow the characters. What do I know, though? Ready to do some High Republic?
Sure. Oh, by the way, that Terrifying Tales Lego Star Wars thing that came out, I know Lego Star Wars isn't canon, but
I forgot about
that. But we watched that last week. And they go through a little story with Kylo Ren. Well, they go through a story with Ben, and he meets the Knights of Ren. And again, I know this isn't canon. It's fine.
Well, it was in the comics.
Sure.
Knights of Ren.
Well, no, they attack Luke's compound, and they kind of convince him to hang out with them. And the leader basically tells him, you have to destroy Luke's compound and kill everyone to become a member, but then he beats him and takes the suit and everything, and then just tells Luke that he's leaving, unlike in the movie where he just does that after he leaves. I just thought it was kind of weird how they twisted the timeline a bit. Again, I know it's Lego, it's not like it's canon, but I thought it was funny.
Interesting. Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
I had forgotten that they did come out with that, but
other than that, I mean, Lego Star Wars is pretty funny for the most part. I usually enjoy the content, so I would recommend it.
Yeah.
Just don't pay attention to timelines or anything.
Sure.
All right, High Republic.
Yeah, Heart of the Drengir, Chapter 3, The Root of Terror.
This kind of made me mad.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. I mean, let's just kind of set the scene, and we'll talk about why it made both of us kind of irritated. So this is right before the disaster on Valo and the sacking of the Republic Fair. Our Starlight Beacon Jedi are joined up with the Hutts in their attempt to destroy the Drengir. And they figured out in the last comic that you had, what did they refer to, a progenitor? Is that what it was? Progenitor?
Yes. Yeah.
So the main Drengir.
Yeah.
And,
the old one.
Fine. Yeah, cool. There we go. Okay, that makes sense, I guess. How do you defeat tree people? You get the oldest one.
Yeah.
And do stuff to it. Sick. So the Jedi and the Hutts are fighting along, side each other. Then we introduce big ants that the Drengir apparently are friends with.
By the way, at the very first page, Skier kind of says what we were all thinking during that book when Asatala's like, well, we're steering dangerously close to stepping on the Council's toes as it is, and the Republic Fair.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about the Republic Fair.
Yeah.
We are fighting a war against something that is taking over planets at a time, and you're worried about a fair.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, as they're fighting, Keeve and Orla Jareni show up. Mm-hmm. We had kind of had little stuff about them in prior comics. And again, just kind of to move through this a little bit, Keeve does attempt to go after Avar, who has went to try and confront the main Drengir. Mm-hmm. And she gets a root in her mouth because
people like that.
People are sick. Anyway. But it kind of appears that that Avar is maybe being like controlled by the Drengir, kind of like Skier was. And well, even Keeve was, in that whole...
Although she did better than everyone else, ironically.
Tentacle and mouth thing. Long story short, they are able to what would be the best word for this? Entomb the progenitor with a field, kind of going off of what the old Sith lords did.
Right.
Essentially the same thing. Cutting the progenitor off from the rest of the Drengir and then imprisoning it, and then they're going to take it to the Bogan Vault.
Yeah. How big is Starlight Beacon that they can just house a creature essentially the size of a Sarlacc? Bigger than Sarlacc, really.
The Bogan Vault, though, that was on Coruscant, wasn't it?
Oh, I thought they said that was on Starlight. Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, I mean, the Bogan Vault was what back in, I think the first mention of it was in the Dooku audio drama, and it was on Coruscant at that point. If I remember correctly, hopefully I'm remembering it right. However, they do kind of in the course of like trapping the Drengir, we do get a little bit of like Avar's sort of force conducting. They're all like lending her,
which is not as awesome energy in a comic. Unfortunately,
people of the world, I need your energy.
The Force is light.
I don't know. I mean, like, I think some of the
for the Force is light.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I will say though that the animation in this is really good.
Yes, definitely.
There are a lot of like there were 2 full page panels as well.
Yeah.
So that was neat. But yeah, and then I guess the last noteworthy thing is that the Hutt wants to kill the Drengir, and they're like, "No, we don't do that. You're gonna stop it." And then effectively, they're not friends anymore. But
we'll blow up Nihil ships, but we will not kill plants.
Yeah, we won't kill the killer plants after we put him in his little shell,
which sets it up for him to be, broken out so easily. But essentially, obviously, for right now, basically what has happened is we've defeated the Drengir in 8 comics.
Yeah, and then just real quick, though, the last part of this comic is realizing that the fair has been destroyed.
Yeah.
So, yeah, back to your point, though. We've reduced the entire Drengir threat into
2 books.
8 comics.
And in those books, you really don't even hardly deal with them. You just discover them.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just maybe they're just kind of giving us a taste of the Drengir and then taking them away until we can deal with the Nihil in the books and then go back to them in the books. But they've just given us the easy out on how to deal with them. So even if they bring them back, how much can you really flesh it out. Because this wasn't difficult to find the progenitor and do that.
Well, I feel like we do a lot of rehashing on some of these things with High Republic.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is that it would have been far better service to have written this book, this storyline in a book, given more time for Avar Kriss and Keeve and, you know, the rest of the Jedi in this, you know, Starlight Beacon, as opposed to doing the I'm sorry, I just like Skier, I didn't care about the fair.
No, nobody did.
I didn't care about it.
I don't think
at
anybody
all.
did. That could have been in the comic.
And you know, we've played Stellan Gios off as, you know, the typical foil.
Yeah, now he's
and
fighting
Elzar,
them, essentially.
Yeah, and Elzar is just, you know, getting chicks, you know, sick. So I'm okay with, like, you know, the flaws of people. That's fine. It's not a big deal. We get that. But this could have been a far better story than this continued Nihil garbage. And the Nihil are garbage. They're marauders. They should have been dealt with like 2 books ago. And I mean, the Eye is not very smart.
No.
Like they're not hyper intelligent. It just doesn't make any sense to me that we are where we are with High Republic. It's flipped.
The progenitor should have been hyper intelligent.
Well, the progenitor's scary. I mean, and it's not like we really explained very hard at how the whole trap went. You know, that could have been a whole big thing that they had to research and figure out and everything, and just didn't really do that. And that's what books are for. I'm with you. I didn't really enjoy. I didn't enjoy the fact that we wrapped up this whole story that I thought could have been a lot better with better characters in comics as opposed to doing full books on. It doesn't make any sense to me.
And I've already kind of mentioned this. Keeve is one of my favorite Jedi in the High Republic.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I mean, a Keeve-centered book with a little bit of Skier in the background and that focused around the Drengir, I think that would have been an amazing book. Done right by the right person. You know, I think that could have been so much better than anything. Is there a single Nihil book that we just thought was amazing, honestly? Because I just feel like the Nihil are annoying.
The Nihil are annoying. I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you.
And now, obviously, since we're kind of done with that, leading into the next one, we're going to have even more Nihil focus in this comic book series.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm with you. I think the what we're assuming is the end of the Drengir. I think was pretty poor.
Yeah.
Pretty poor.
Yeah.
Pretty poor. So there we go. The end of the Drengir.
Yep. Wasted
now
potential.
High Republic 9.
Wasted potential.
Well, now we flip our story. High Republic 9. And, I mean, I could sum all this up very quickly. Double agent mission.
Yep. And clearly by the preview of number 10's artwork, can't talk tonight, I would say that it fails miserably right away.
Possibly. Yeah, I mean, so, again, to kind of run through the premise, Avar attempts to reason a bit with Stellan. And I can't necessarily say that, like, Stellan was completely wrong when he kind of shut down their sort of, what was his exact words? After Keeve kind of broke in here. He wanted a more unified response, not running off on your own in an attempt to assuage your guilt.
Which is ironic coming from him.
Yeah, and again, like, I wanted Stellan to be a cool character. Mm-hmm. What he is he is the embodiment of everything that went wrong with the Jedi Order, and we just have to accept that.
Yep.
He's very high and mighty. He's very convinced that he's right, but he also is on the council. And, you know, he's a big dude, you know? He's got the big dude responsibilities.
And not even Avar is really going to butt heads with that.
No. Not at all.
By the way, we were introduced to the most annoying Jedi name. The first panel after they set up their little ruse, and let me try and pronounce it. Noran Bakarakana. Little furry dude.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think you did pretty good on that pronunciation.
You think?
Yeah.
Hopefully I never have to read that name again. It gave me a headache.
Well, after not convincing Stellan to do anything, Avar decides to have her own little mission where they send Keeve and one of the twins undercover as Nihil, and they sort of shoot at some vectors and
blow one up that was autopiloted, essentially.
Right. So the ruse is there, and Keeve meets Big Blob Guy, kind of like the guy from Force Awakens on Rey's planet. I'm blanking. What is the planet called? I'm just totally blanking on that.
Wow.
You're blanking too, aren't you?
Yeah.
Detail guys. Jakku. Got to remember that. Very important planet.
Yeah.
A lot of sand.
Yeah, good old Zetar.
Yeah. So we have, I believe his name was Maru, the Starlight's like communications guy or whatever, feeding Keeve information and so forth. But she does tell him, Senor Blob, that she's a part of Pan Ada's or Ida's, even though it's clearly not, depending on your pronunciation of audiobooks. But from Pan Ada's group, his Tempest. And Avar is intermixed in here saying, you'll be tested. So at first, Keeve's attacked. She's able to fend off the attack. But then she is told that she needs to crack a Hutt's skull.
With a hammer.
With a hammer, exactly. And this is the Hutt that we saw in our last comic that was assisting the Jedi.
Yeah, good old Miraga, I think. Yeah, Miraga.
Yeah. So what will she do?
Which totally looks like our anime Hutt.
Oh,
in
true.
This panel.
Yeah.
Play some bass, Miraga.
Oh my god. I don't want to talk about that stupid one. That was dumb. I hated that one. So anyway, yeah, we have a decision that has to be made. How deep do you go in deep cover?
Yeah. You either
assume that she won't kill the Hutt.
She either, goes against Jedi code and kills the Hutt, or exposes herself and is forced to kill a bunch of Nihil. So she can't be a Jedi in this situation regardless.
That's right. That is right.
The question is, do we push Keeve to do so many things that she leans towards the dark side more? Kind of an interesting twist to have her become a Sith.
Yeah, you know what? I don't think that's how it's gonna. I don't think that is how it will go. But yes, that is an interesting thought. I think that I don't know. I think we're pretty ripe for something like that. Don't you think?
Well, we do
I think
need.
it might be a kind of a cool thing to just like flip the script a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we do kind of have a vacuum right now, not having any Sith to deal with. It would be kind of cool.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what winds up coming up. But I'm with you, man. I kind of wouldn't mind changing it up a little bit. I think we've been a little too nice for too long, and maybe we need a little bit of a shake-up. But there again, who knows?
Yeah, there's even a little mention of that when, she's talking with her master after arguing with Stellan. She's like, I know there is no emotion. And Skier's like, no, there's always emotion. You just need to learn how to deal with it, which is something I actually appreciated. Right. Because most masters just try to teach that you shouldn't have feelings of emotion. You shouldn't feel anything. You're wrong to have basic human emotions.
No doubt. No doubt. Well, there we go.
Yep.
3 comics down. James Bond review. Lego something. The scary Lego thing.
And octopus games.
Yeah. It's good stuff. Good episode, right? Anything else we need to go over comic-wise? I mean, I think it was pretty cut and dry for the most part.
No, I think we're good there. Not a great week for comics.
No, we're still pretty far behind comic-wise.
Yeah.
We've had to push back a lot, obviously, but we're going to continue to roll through and talk what we can talk, get out what we can. And then, we've got a lot of stuff coming up.
Yeah,
so
I think we have a couple more weeks of comics, and then I think we have a new Jedi Order coming up.
Yep. We'll be getting in on it. So, I don't know, anything else we need to go over?
No, I think we're good.
There we go. Okay. Well, folks, hopefully you enjoyed. Make sure that you do follow us on the social media. Twitter is probably the most active place right now because it's easy. But at TC Plan Podcast. You can also find us on Facebook. And if you'd like to just, ask some questions, share a theory, give us a talking point or whatever that you'd like to hear us discuss, you can always send us a good old email to tcplanpodcast@gmail.com. But that's all for this week. You have a great rest of your week.
And as always, may the Force be with you.